would you describe your art, your practice to somebody who's not familiar with it, who has not seen it before?
Okay, so, well, I sort of think of myself as both an eroticist and a pornographer. But that's according to the audience. So those definitions come from the viewer. I do Homo Baroque, Homo Rococo works. And I consider them drawings or paintings in the photographic medium. So when you saw the one the other night at the National, it's really a painting. It's not a photograph. I'm not like a person going out to document something. I'm creating for the camera, like a sculptor, like a painter, like someone, a draftsperson. All of those people who create to make a piece rather than an actual document.
When were you in Ottawa, and what were you doing there? What brought you to Ottawa?
Okay, so I went to Ottawa for a job interview. It was a time in my life I had taught in Kentucky for a year, didn't get the visas renewed because I was agitating against the Vietnam War, yada yada. Came back to Niagara Falls, had a wonderful sugar daddy, Ken Wellington. I was a boy toy, and I had lots of money. I had my own studio and everything was fine. And then Ottawa U asked me to come for a job interview. And I didn't want the job. I actually thought, I want the trip. I'm up for a free trip. And so in talking it over with my mom, which I often did, she said, oh, well, just wear drag. They'll never hire you. So I went off to the interview in drag, and nothing went as planned. I kept waiting for the shit to hit the fan, and it didn't. At the end, they were saying, well, we still want you, and will you come, and da-da-da. And so I actually just said, I'll let you know in 10 days, because I have to go back and talk it over with my sugar daddy. And he was not too happy, but we had a 1-year contract, and it was coming up to the end of the contract. And so, so I went to Ottawa to teach.
You've been an artist and a teacher for a long time now. How does the teaching, and by that I mean specifically the interaction with young students, those young, fresh minds, how has that over the years affected you and your art?
Well, I think when you're with the young, it helps you stay young. And the fact that you have these great minds with you. So I prepared a little list for you if I'll go through it, but I had great peers like Penny Cousineau, Lorraine Gilbert. Here I've had Eric Simone, David Elliott, Francois Morelli, Ingrid Bachmann, Rebecca Duclos. You have these people who are thinkers and doers, and I think that's the key in continuing. And as a teacher, it's a quote, I think, from Frost, but he said, I'm not a teacher, I'm an awakener. And I think that's a really important thing to realize, because technique can be taught out of a book. It can be taught by anybody. But to really spend time to awaken, to get people to realize their potential. If students make work like mine, it really angers me, because why are you making work like an old gay man? Hello, you're anything but. So do your own thing.
The Ottawa Art Gallery is getting a new gallery, a new place.
At last?
At last, I think. What do you think that means to the city and to its art scene?
I think it's important for the young, because it's the stepping stone, or should be the stepping stone, between leaving the university and going to the parallel galleries, and then having somewhere to go to make the step to provincial and national galleries. So I think it's very important to have a city gallery. And I think it's also important because that gallery, along with the others, will bring new visions, new works, new ways of viewing to the general public of Ottawa. And in that sense, it's also a form of education and an extension of the arts.